Parenthood periodical. And Planned Parenthood is trying to teach filthy education in schools. And I'm going to and they're publicly funded with your money. And I'm going to go ahead and put this graphic up on the screen. I promise you I have covered what needs to be covered. I promise you I have. And I'm not going to go a lot of details into this. But they use these cartoon images to teach children as young as 10 years old how to explore themselves. Planned Parenthood teaching 10-year-old boys and girls with cartoon characters that are explicit, nasty, dirty, nasty stuff. Little cartoon figures teaching these kids how to have fun with your body, have a little carnival. That's what they're teaching them to do. Hundreds of millions of dollars from the United States government being channeled into this. How is it going to get to your kids? Are they going to invite you to a seminar and hand you this and say, here, give this to your child? Not on your life. It's going to be done through the health director at your school. They're going to give this, they're going to get this stuff in your kids' hands. And it's basically cartoon pornography is what it is. If you or I tried to give that to some child, would be arrested for being a weirdo and a perv. They're going after our kids, people. And then we have what I call the Walmart abortions now. You can go to Walmart and get an abortion. I'm dead serious. Food and Drug Administration. The morning after pill has been approved to be an over-the-counter drug. Over-the-counter means you walk into Walmart, you see it on the shelf, you pick it up, go to the counter, you pay for it, you walk out. That simple. No prescription, no doctor note, no parental signature, nothing. It's called the morning after pill, or Plan B, and it's an abortive. It's an abortion pill. The morning after pill is moving over the counter decision announced by the Food and Drug Administration just days before a court-imposed deadline. On April 30th, 2013, the FDA lowered, listen to this now, lowered to the age of 15, at which girls and women can buy the emergency contraceptive without a prescription. What that means is emergency contraceptive is that, and the reason why it's called the morning after the pill is that the night before, when you're doing something as a 15-year-old girl that you should not be doing, and you don't want to deal with the consequences of your fornication, you go to Walmart and get a $15 abortion, or however much this is going to cost. 15 years old. So you don't need mom and daddy's signature. You don't need a parent with you. You don't need anything. You just drive to Walmart, get you an abortion done, and go home and act like nothing's happened. 15 years old, the age at which women and girls can buy this emergency contraceptive without a prescription, said it no longer has to be kept behind pharmacy counters. Instead, the pill can sit on drugstore shelves just like other forms, but that buyers would have to prove their age at the cash register. What a world we live in. Earlier this month, a federal judge had ruled there should be no age restrictions and gave the FDA 30 days to act. The FDA said its latest decision was independent of the court case. The court actually said no age restrictions. So 13, 12, 11. So Planned Parenthood gives them pornography literature to get their minds all corrupted and messed up, to get these kids to become active at the earliest age possible. And then now the government is going to allow them, that when they have become procreative, to kill the baby. And it doesn't matter if it's 9 months in utero or it's 1 day. It doesn't matter. It is a human child. It's not a piece of property. It's not some tissue. It's nothing. God knew us from the day that He formed us in our mother's womb. In thy book, all my members were already written, David said. They were written, which in continuance was fashioned when as yet there was none of them. From the moment of conception, God formed you in your mother's womb. And so the 15-year-old girl who goes and gets the Walmart abortion has now become the murderer of a human being at 15 years old. And more than likely, that age will be reduced. In fact, there will probably be no age restriction whatsoever on it. So any girl at any time could go in and get a Walmart abortion and think in her mind that she's done the right thing. And the liberals in government, Michelle Obama's going, oh, we're so proud of you. You killed your baby. You don't want that old thing hanging on you and ruining your life. It's a sick country we live in, people. Very, very sick. We're ill. There's something bad. There is a bad, bad spirit. And I am seeing that it's getting incrementally worse. It just seems like in the last 5-6 months, it is getting exponentially worse. Not just the sodomite issue, but every issue that Christian morality causes us to take a stand on, those things are being eroded and eradicated in this country right now. So here is another article. Alan called me before the show today, asked me had I seen this one. I didn't see it yet, but he put me on to it. 29% of registered voters believed an armed revolution might be necessary in the next few years in order to protect liberties, according to the Public Mind poll by Farley Dickinson University. The poll, which surveyed 863 registered voters, had a margin of error of plus or minus 3%, focused on both gun control and the possibility of a need for an armed revolution in the United States to protect liberty. I'm asking myself who wanted this survey? Who benefits by this survey? I don't think that it's the gun owner American that benefits by this survey. I don't think that it's, and I would say probably 29% would be at least a growing number, if not already more than that. Who benefits by this piece of information? Who uses it? Who needs this information? I don't need it. But who needs this information? Eric Holder, Barack Hussein, all of these people in Washington who know that they are pushing and provoking God-fearing, or at least decency-fearing, or constitutionally based Americans. They're pushing and provoking them. Why? I think, and I said this several years ago down in Harrison, Arkansas. That's where I did the video, Baphomet, the God of Transformation. And they were saying back then, before Barack Obama was even elected, there were people saying, like Deepak Chopra, saying he represents the fundamental transformation of America. I take that seriously. I think he does. And we all know the modus operandi, the method of operation of the devil. We're not ignorant of his devices. Solve and coagula. You got to dissolve first, so then you can rebuild. If you just want to think that the whole purpose of destroying both World Trade Towers was so that they could build a new one in its place, 1,776 feet tall. Think about that. And now I'll be honest, I think it was last year, on May 1st, that construction had advanced to such a point that they noted on May 1st, when they put this one pillar in or beam in or something like that, that now on May 1st it had become the tallest building once again in New York City. And they had to do that on May 1st, 1776. Why? Well, Adam Weishaupt, the Bavarian Illuminati. That day is important. That day, that year, is on the back of the $1 bill. Now, I don't think it has anything to do with the Declaration of Independence. I think it has everything to do with rebuilding Babylon, or the tower. And so you have to, in order to have the kind of America that Barack Hussein sits and dreams about, an America that is turned completely upside down, where there's not even the shred of fundamental Christianity left, where the government has total control over everything, where the government takes everything that it can from people who actually go work for a living and give it to people who do nothing but vote for a living. He sits and dreams about that kind of country. And I think that he knows, and other people know, that the only way to have that country is to destroy the old one. So who benefits from knowing this piece of information? That right now about a third of the country recognizes that at some point an armed civil war in this country is going to be necessary. 1/3 of the country now believes this. There might be another third that doesn't even want to talk about it. But if push come to shove, they're going to draw their weapon. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about the next civil war. I certainly don't want to provoke it. But I also don't want to live a slave. I don't want to live a slave. And so while I may or may not be part of that 1/3 that already says, let's go get them, boys, I definitely am in a group that says, if this is how it has to be, this is how it has to be. And I think there is, in information like this, I think there is a built-in provocation. And when you make rednecks mad, you better stop.